I recently had a student of mine ask me how they know if something is a CLIL lesson. This student happens to be an Italian teacher who works in Italian high schools, and he is part of a course I am teaching, which allows these class subject teachers to learn how to teach their subject in English. This is a CLIL course, Content, Language, Integrated Learning, where we combine the subject knowledge plus the language knowledge. So this student asked me, how can he know if the lesson that he is planning fits the requirements of CLIL? In a previous video, I discussed that most CLIL lessons are built on the 4 C's framework. The 4 C's are content, communication, cognition, and culture. So, in order to determine if your lesson fits the requirements for CLIL, we simply have to plug it in to the 4 C's framework. So, we're going to do that right now. This teacher's idea was to have his students create a business plan. So, we decided to break it down into parts. How do each of the 4 C's apply to this lesson? First, we have to think about the content. Obviously, the content is creating a business plan. We want the students to create a business plan and all the different parts that go along with that. Communication would be the language that they use. In this case, the target language is English. Maybe there are some key expressions that this teacher would like the students to learn regarding developing business plans. Maybe there are different phrases he wants them to use. We could use things like financial structure, financial development, marketing schemes, insurance. There are many different things that we could do with this business plan, and it depends on which direction this teacher would like to go with his particular lesson. Then we discussed the cognition part. So what are some different activities that he could have the students do to move through Bloom's taxonomy pyramid of ordered thinking skills? So we'll talk about that in another video coming soon, but basically we move from lower order thinking skills such as remembering up to higher order thinking skills like creating. And in this case, creating a business plan has us working at a very high level of thinking skills. So maybe the students are going to start with some sort of mind map activity where they will have to brainstorm the name of the business, the type of business. Is it going to be online? Is it a physical store? Will they sell a product, a service? There's a lot of different cognition activities that go into this project, and a lot of them are functioning at a very high level. So regardless of the English level of the students, they're going to have to be thinking at a very high level. So this means if we are working with students who have a lower level English, they're going to need a bit more support. Maybe they're going to need some vocabulary terms defined for them. Maybe the teacher is going to have to pre-teach some of these vocabulary terms and expressions before they're able to then move on to the brainstorming step. So we've covered content, developing a business plan, communication, the language, vocabulary, and phrases that we would like the students to use during the lesson, and cognition. Nailed it. Mind mapping, brainstorming, coming up with ideas, and different things that we will need to do to create a business. Now, we move to culture. And for many of my students in my How to Teach CLIL course, culture tends to be the hardest part. It also tends to be the one that gets forgotten the most, and maybe that's because it comes at the last of the list of the 4 C's. Well, if we are discussing culture and creating business plans, there is a lot of things we could discuss here. When we were going through this live during the course, a lot of the other teachers had suggested, well, you could discuss marketing. A lot of times we were marketing things on TV, in newspapers, on bulletin boards, but that's not something we really do anymore. So maybe you could have the students discuss the best marketing strategies given our current culture. Many things are done online, in social media, and different areas like that. You could also have them compare discussing and building businesses in different countries. So in the US, for example, it's very common for people to create a business. Those businesses are not always successful, but it seems to be more of this entrepreneurial mindset that they have there. In the Czech Republic, people were also starting businesses, their own little self-employed, whether it's restaurants or language services, hairdressers. There were lots of new businesses just kind of popping up all over. But here in Italy, according to these Italian teachers, they said it's not as common of a thing. So, in a sense, these students would be going through a different cultural experience by going through this lesson of creating a business plan. So, I will let you decide. Is this a CLIL lesson to create a business plan in another language? Well, it certainly fits the 4 C's criteria for being a CLIL lesson. There are many other parts that are involved in creating this, such as scaffolding and adapting resources, maybe for the students' needs. But to me, it certainly seems that this would be a fantastic CLIL lesson. If teaching English is something you are interested in, or if teaching your subject, but in a foreign language, is interesting to you, stay tuned for more videos. Feel free to leave a comment in the box below if you have any tips or suggestions for other ESL teachers or CLIL teachers. You're also welcome to leave a question. I would love to help out. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a fantastic day wherever you are in the world, and until next time, bye.